Hello and welcome back to Global Cambridge News. New episodes every Tuesday. You should go check out the others if you haven't, they're good. Mostly like the last two, but yeah, they're good. Cambridge has had its very own Kill the Bill protest, which saw one demonstrator getting their own one-up on the police by climbing above the police station. Get it? One up. The protest saw roughly 80 to 100 people show up to voice their opposition to new legislation, the Police Crime Sentencing and Courts Bill, that grants police new powers to shut down protests if they deem them to be too intimidating or harassing, or if they believe them to be causing serious unease, alarm, or distress, even if the demonstration is only one person strong. They will also be able to punish protesters breaking rules that they ought to have known, which feels like a very dangerous game to me. Don't assume that I know things. The bill also makes it possible to get a 10-year prison sentence for damaging a statue, which means you could get 10 years for defacing the statue of George Washington in Trafalgar Square. You can literally be sent to jail for defacing a statue of a guy that Britain fought a war against. We send people over there to try and kill him. You can go to prison for that. The bill actually makes it so that you can get a harsher sentence for damaging a statue than you can damaging the statuette. As a common assault charge maxes out at 6 months in prison, a 20th of what you can get for damaging the statue. A 20th. Our protest follows in the wake of violent clashes between Bristol protesters and police officers. And for those of us like me who weren't there, we can only really go on what we're being told. The problem is we're being presented two very strongly conflicting stories. You know, on the one hand we've got Bojo and not so pretty Patel tweeting that protesters are the ones starting the violence, but on the other hand we've got videos of police beating the incapacitated or punching that journalist in the face. And I mean, I don't really care where you land on it. The dog one is just, that one's pretty funny. Even though we are outsiders looking at the situation up north, you know, through a keyhole, it's pretty hard to deny that, you know, there are officers out there abusing their power. And this bill is just going to make it easier for them to do that. Personally, I feel that protesting is one of the most important cornerstones of our freedom. And once we start setting weird restrictions on it, like you can protest as long as it's not harassing, then we risk one of the most important tools that we have to voice our voice. It's like in Arrested Development when they're protesting the war and they take them to the designated protesting area in the middle of nowhere where they just won't bother anyone. What's the point of a protest if people don't see you? And there's proof that they were. The first Pride Parade was a protest led in part by Marsha P. Johnson after the Stonewall riots, which saw a bunch of police raid Manhattan gay bars. They turned something really horrible into something that we celebrate every year through protest. The National Union of Women's Suffrage Societies, you know, peacefully lobbied and campaigned, and they helped get UK women the right to vote. And more recently, abortion was decriminalised in Northern Ireland following their protests. No matter where you land on those individual topics, it can't be denied that protesting does have an effect, and you should want to defend that right for when it's a topic that you feel strongly about. On a personal note, I find the intimidation or harassment restriction pretty dumb. I mean, I get it, but what's to say I don't find the sound of a nation all clapping at once intimidating or harassing? Why don't we show our gratitude with a less harassing, less intimidating, more quiet pay rise of more than 1%. On a final note on the topic, if you're going out to protest, wear a mask. Defend your right, but defend others too. But hey look, this isn't just me speaking, it's a dialogue. Admittedly, a dialogue that is 99% me speaking, and then sometimes I'll read the comments. But I do want to hear from you. How do you feel about the bill? How do you feel about recent attitudes towards the police in general? Let us know in the comments down below. Plans to renovate Cambridge's Market Square move into the next stage of consultation as the council pushes to transform the space into a trade event hybrid kind of setup. Practically, this would mean removing the permanent stalls that are there now and replacing them with temporary ones that can go up at day and down at night to leave room for gigs and theatre shows and just having a general space. As someone who misses live shows and events, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least, you know, a little bit curious and maybe a tiny bit excited. But traders aren't happy about it. Traders are concerned that these new stalls aren't strong enough to withstand the wind that will be channeled through the market or take the heavy weight of a lot of the produce. There are also concerns that it's going to privatise what is supposed to be a public space. If you have a ticketed event that you have to pay to get into, it means that people can't use that square anymore at night. These concerns come as no prototype temporary store has actually been shown to traders, and it won't be shown before it moves into the next stage. Hey look, I get it, I'd be mad too if someone said, hey, we're taking away your work desk and replacing it with a temporary one so that people can come here and party at night. Would I be mad? I don't know, I do miss parties. I had to read through some of the proposed changes and not gonna lie, some of them do make sense. Cleaning up the area, you know, providing better water and power facilities. But my god, does communication suck between the council and the traders? I mean, to the point where it's come up in a few videos now. Like last week, where the florist had to lose $5 worth of product, or the Wi-Fi's episode about the market store being closed with people barely having any notice. On the whole, I'm typically quite pessimistic and wary of Cambridge developments, but I do think that the market does need a bit of a once-over, as long as the council sort of treat the traders with respect and work with them to redesign the space. In fact, I actually spoke to the traders and I have a video coming up on that soon. Let me know what you think. I know the market is important to a lot of you guys, so I really want to hear it. Leave it down below. And now for some good news, unless you're pro-COVID, in which case maybe just leave your like and subscription and stop watching. Cambridge Independent reported that COVID cases have gone down by 22, taking that total down to 338. That is a 6.1 decrease, putting the infection rate at 51.7 cases per 100,000. I imagine the 0.7 is maybe a kid or potentially someone else vertically challenged. Couldn't be me, 6'1", so. As someone who has to consume a lot of news stories, this is especially good news for me because holy crap, am I tired of COVID stories. I mean, look, I know I'm doing one, but okay, yeah, I guess I don't really have a but for that one. I'm just excited to get back to a point in my life where people can ask me how I'm doing and I can say surviving without it being a flex. This show is nothing without you guys out there watching and supporting, so I just want to take a bit of time to say thanks to you guys. Personally, this week, Gabrielle, I see you commenting and watching all the videos and stuff, and dude, I appreciate it so much. There is like no obligation to, and yet you still do anyway. You the man. Each Tuesday, I'm going to be thanking someone new on the show who I've noticed has sort of been interacting, helping out a bit. So, make your name known. Leave it down in the comments down below. These thanks, by the way, don't mean that you get to stop watching. You still got to come back every Tuesday, Friday, 5 PM, GMT. New videos. And because the show is nothing without you guys, I want to hear from you guys. So send in your stories to cambridgeunwrapped@gmail.com or hit us up on any of our social. At cambridgeunwrapped on Facebook and Twitter, at cambridgeunwrapped on Instagram, and you can always find my personal one at Hugo Barman on Instagram too. Well, that's all the script my writer's block had time for. So until next week, this is where I love you and leave you, Cambridge and the greater Cambridgeshire area. Peace.